things off here as well between these two. So, I mean, yeah, pretty reasonable to expect to see the Genji come out of the mix here. But Reaper's also quite an accessible pick on this particular map. Let's see now, though, as it's one of those few occasions we're going to see Dia play something other than McCree. And, yeah, so XPG actually playing not the Roadhog, the Winston to start things off.
Oh, wow. So they're actually allowing Seagull to play Genji and they have Milo instead playing the Zarya. So they're actually switching things up even further from just the EV. Or the Overwatch Open that recently happened. Yumu's already able to pick up a quick kill on the Gods. He's playing the Winston of all things.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm more surprised by Gods actually playing on the Winston in this case here, but we'll see. I mean, the fact that Enigma plays Tracer is new for us to see, I think, from NRG. We'll see how it plays out here, Seagull. Oh, Dia, that's a smack in the face, isn't it? My lord, that's not really the thing you want to walk around the corner into. Nice timing there from Seagull to reflect those shots coming in. Gives a bit of freedom now to test on this point. Dummy with 2 kills though. They actually took down Yumu there. Big efforts coming in here from the Zenyatta player on the side of NRG. And maybe, just maybe, a bit better at that brawling scenario. Seagull's already going to have an ultimate. So is Enigma here. Good opening here for NRG's damage dealers especially.
Yeah, but the thing about these comps that are mirrored for both teams is that they're highly volatile. One Graviton Surge into a Pulse Bomb can completely eliminate a team. And then, of course, you have the Dragon Blade to come in on the other side of that, who can eliminate targets even further to kind of build up some steam, some momentum. And Seagull, he's going straight in. He looks like the Zarya so far. He's able to pick up the kill and come back in towards the point, but it looks like Vici just a little bit displaced.
Yeah, I mean, Seagull as well, and that's a problem for him because he can't really, you know, cascade from one kill to another. Gets cut down by Yumu in mid-air, the dash comes in, well-timed. Now, Dia, not much he can really do. 2 HP, surely. Yes, God eventually gets that job finished off, but in the meantime, Yumu had already picked himself up 2. He's decimated the back line of energy, which Hoops there to fall to him. But now Enigma able to fight back in. I mean, this is just super interesting to see Enigma on this role in general. Of course, the namesake of the old not Enigma team, which is what some of these guys are actually sort of formed from ultimately. Transcendence is available. They got a Pulse Bomb for Enigma, maybe waiting on Milo to have his Graviton Surge available, but Vici haven't really got much of a touch of the point so far.
They used Dragon Blade, they used Pulse Bomb in that last fight to make something happen, and NRG is able to maintain at least one of their offensive ultimates, since Seagull did use it a little bit early on in that fight. They're going to charge straight in. Looks like no charge to be built up off of that Winston though, since he's used a little bit too late, but he's still at 68 energy, so he's still able to do some work here. And that Sound Barrier was used preemptively to give him some sort of attack on this point. They use both support ultimates here.
Yeah, I'm the top to get something for this one, because Stinger actually picks off Seagull, so now energy come in, both support ultimates down, the Graviton comes in, there's nothing to protect him against this damage, and Tanky, he's just going to hold the Mouse 1 down, but that's a nice pulse from coming in from Enigma. That's what was needed. That was what energy were waiting on that ult for, and they managed to make it work. Pooks, very hard to deal with right now for Boy. He's able to back around the side of the corner. A little bit of a heal as well over towards Gods, who's a little bit low at this stage. But again, energy playing around this point so well.
They kept it contested this whole time. They're at 92% already, and Vici has not been able to get actual control. Yeah, it's going to be probably at 99% before Vici's going to have a chance to turn things around. Tank is able to come back in, and Yumu gets the kill on the Poop. So that does give him the man advantage coming into this, as they're finally going to be able to turn the point here in just a few seconds. But 99% to 0. Be rough, and Vici just cannot afford to let this point go.
Energy backing away from that one fairly quickly as well. The call must have come out straight away to say, boys, don't even bother with this one. Let's sort of group up and go for something else. Now, the thing is, Energy, the next ultimate coming up, probably going to be Dragon Blade at this stage. It may not be enough to cut through Vici on its own. Who will have Sound Barrier to answer that with? So Energy might have to play this one out a little bit slower, concede some of that percentage on the point before they can actually have the tech to come in and retake it.
I mean, they're going to have Eagle with Sound Barrier to actually stop the Pulse Bomb, and they're going to have Transcendence to stop the Dragon Blade out of Seagull, just whether they can use it appropriately, and they actually pop the Sound Barrier already, which might be a slight mistake here, because Energy can easily quickly turn this around because of the support difference, or the support ult difference.
Well, Energy aren't trying to win this fight at all. They don't want to win. You see, Seagull just goes straight off the edge. They want these ultimates to be drawn out of Vici. Vici used both their defensive ultimates there, and Energy didn't use any of theirs. That's a win fight for Energy, even though they've lost it.
Yeah, very true. So now it comes down to Dia, basically, with the Pulse Bomb to hold on to, because like you said, they don't have the 2 double support ults anymore. Graviton Surge should not ideally be up in the beginning of this fight, though it might come up a little bit later on, if Tanku can stay alive. The XPGs can be able to buy some time with the Primal Rage, but NRG, they're looking at this next attack to be the final nail in the coffin on this first point, as the Seagull will be able to come in. There's a Dragon Blade as well.
And look at that, the Transcendence to back this one up here. Energy have everything they need to take Vici apart at the seams, and they're going to do just that. Tanky now falling there as well up on the Zarya. It's not going to be enough. Yumu finds Enigma amongst the chaos here, but that may be it. He is eventually cut down by Gods. Dia throws a Pulse Bomb in desperately. He doesn't catch on towards anything. Maybe a little bit of a lick of damage on towards Gods, but that's about it. Now has to work in from the fringes. He's going to be cut down ultimately now, as that was a Sound Barrier just used off the back by Pooks to help this attack stick from Energy. There come the kills. XPG goes down there to Pooks, and Still Dia staying alive here, able to stall things out for a little bit. Energy haven't taken the point back yet. Graviton Surge coming in. No pulse bomb available for Diggy, but it doesn't matter. Yumi's going to jump straight through. It's going to be Vici. The eggs on Energy's face. They drew the ults out, but Energy had 3 or 4 to come in with. We weren't able to retake the point now. This Trace has been untouched the entire fight.
And I don't think anyone on Energy is going to have a chance to touch the point before it does actually turn over to 100%. They're going to try to throw the Tracer and try to do something. Enigma rushes in. He does go into 2 overtime, but the question is how long can they keep it here?
Well, I don't really know. We managed to at least get the touch here, but it's going to be kills going in the favor of Vici. This whole round was in favor of Energy until they lost the point the first time. The boss bomb connects there. Dia gets a bit of damage across, and now Energy desperately trying to stay on the point, but Seagull, the Dragon Blade gets him nothing, and that's going to be it. First round, go to Vici.
So in the midst of forcing Vici to throw away double support ultimates and having double support ults with Pulse Bomb, with Dragon Blade available, Energy were not able to turn that around. They picked up 2 kills when they used both their support ultimates, right? After that, they got absolutely nothing. And then, of course, Zenyatta comes back in Huey to turn that around with Transcendence himself to completely turn the tides of the fight. You have to wonder, with that much time that Energy had, with Soundbearer and with Transcendence paired together, not at the same time, obviously, one after another, they still weren't able to close out enough kills to hold on to the point, to build up enough of a lead.
The late Graviton Surge available for Tanky there as well was really important. That was when it looked as if Energy would be able to retake the point back. The timing was excellent. You know, because Yumi just got back to the point of that Genji there as well, was able to capitalize and get a bit of extra damage done. So, interesting there. Really would have thought that Energy would have been able to take that point away, but some things just didn't really line up for them. And now they're going to go 1-0 down in this one. It's a best of 5, of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar. We're going to start this one off with a bang. Quite often, fighting takes place on this part of the map here to try and get the high ground and kick things off, and it's going to trade back and forth here. Milo falls to his death, or maybe kills himself with a right click. It's hard to tell for me, but that's not ideal. Seagull now needs to hold up here against the Winston.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough. 13 HP left. Eventually should fall. He's going to be chased down, almost kills himself. There's like Vinci's going to finally close it out with the Tesla cannon. But Vici are proven to be pretty powerful when it comes to these skirmishes on King of the Hill. They've been able to force Energy when they're at 99% to 0 into a loss on the first point. And now onto the second, they're able to take the point initially here on Village.
Crunched in the first fight on Shrine, which is what I find so interesting here. So very much a flip side of the coin here for Vici to start that fight off. And Energy, yeah, looking a little bit displaced, a little bit scattered over the map here. Well, no one at the moment. I think there's actually at least one player actually there, but we can't see because Yumi's the one doing the fighting right now. And a Dragon Blade available for him. He can make life very, very hard right now for Pooks. There's going to be 1 slash is enough. Dummy can't do much about it. His orbs are going to be reflected. The last shot comes in for Yumi. Elsewhere, XPG takes down Gods. And Yumi able to back away here, try and get a little bit of space. Vici holds.
But that's the dream here for Vici. One ultimate to hold off an attack out of Energy. Like that's exactly, that's exactly what you want to have happen every single time. And now you look at Energy on their side, they're going to have Pulse Bomb, they have Dragon Blade already available. Gods is getting really close to Palmer Rage, but he's mimicked by XPG at 97%. Like that was perfectly well done by Vici, but now Enigma is going to force him onto the point. It's about halfway counter already, they're going to have to deal with him somehow, and he's pulled him out of position from that high ground.
Pulse Bomb sticks on the outside, the shield doesn't connect with any damage, and Dummy was trying to help out Enigma, so was Gods, but Enigma falling first, and then they just turn on the tanks and supports and pick them out of the fight here. Energy, the spearhead in that fight was Enigma rushing on towards the point, but the reinforcements looked a little bit delayed. It wasn't quite there.
They were trying to, so trying to force some ultimates, right? Because they had Seagull with Dragon Blade, so he wanted to go in and try to maybe pick up a couple of kills. But Vici, all they did was feed up a lot of percent for themselves because they have 4 people with ults available now. Like I said, Seagull has switched from Genji to Zarya. Enigma's still in the traces, more standard of what they go with. And they're using Milo on the Reinhardt to actually allow them to push up and get some sort of positioning around this point because they need that shield to mitigate a lot of this extra damage coming through.
That might well be the respect play coming in for Energy, but actually retake the point. But there, Hui and Dia managed to get the fight started yet again. A couple of kills in, and Dia again uncontested, much as he was on Shrine. Really because he's very acrobatic and staying alive, just because no one, is free to deal with him here. Okay, this is a bit of a slap fight here. I think Dummy is going to fall eventually, but that's not easy to follow. Dia gets the bragging rights from that one here, and 80% of the Energy only touched the point for a brief period of time or pushed off very rapidly. So let's see if they can hollow this last push with their triple tank.
86%. And the man who's actually newest addition coming in as a sub for this game, Huey's been doing some work with his damage. He's actually been able to pick up quite a few kills on a lot of key targets. He killed Enigma that last fight alone. But here we go. This is the last attack, like I said. Enigma's going to, able to go into the point. Use the Soundbird actually allow them to get in on top of the point to fight with this one. But the Graviton Surge of the Pulse Bomb combo again to come in. He's able to take down Goss, he takes down Eagle, and Yuma's going to be slept. He has a Dragon Blade ready to go.
He's going to pull it out pretty quickly again. Enigma versus Dia. Who's going to come out on top? Both these Tracers trying to harass from the side, but so far it's been all about, well, it's the Vici Tracer in this part, but Enigma at least able to get the Pulse Bomb involved in that tank keeps taking down Dummy. So, Seagull trying to hold on, and Enigma trying to stay alive. He actually gets on towards Hui, that's important. He gets himself the health pack as a reward, and Energy managed to win that fight finally. And now they have the Nano Boost and the Graviton Surge to rely on here. maybe not a moment too soon.
Problem is, like Graviton Surge, actually the Nano Boost in particular, who's he going to go on to? I'm going to assume it's going to be Milo again on the Reinhardt. The Graviton Surge and swinging away, he's going to have Earthshatter for the next fight if they want to go for the combo. So you pop the Graviton down, you Nano Boost him. He's going to almost 100% have Earthshatter next in the fight after this. So whether or not you can kind of maintain his ultimates and not use too many.
Well, Milo now coming into this fight here does have his Earthshatter available. You're exactly right, Jason. He's going to use it now or later. That's the question. He might not need to use it here. As God's able to get the hook in there, and Enigma doing some serious work. So this switch of Heroes energy, maybe a little bit more respect with Seagull switching off the Genji. It's working out for them here.
And again, the Dream, one ultimate used, and they they hold on to the point. Problem comes in, Yumu has to play this one so carefully. If he gets a reflect on the Graviton Surge, if he dashes too early and gets pulled in by the enemy Graviton Surge and doesn't able to get away from this one, he could say goodbye to this fight, goodbye to the point, goodbye to this map.
Yumu just trying to harass from the sides here as well. Definitely doesn't want to be the spearhead of his team. He gets hooked in. God gets the hook and he gets the kill. That's not good. The Genji already down here. Vici is a key part of their plan. Enigma Pulse Bomb doesn't really connect onto anyone in particular, and that's because Energy's already dealt with most of Vici trying to push back on towards this point. Now it's a bit of a mirror of the last round here, trying to push things back. No, the speed gather does get hooked quickly and can trigger this overtime now standing on the point, but will it be enough? Well, he's going to come in here. He does fall down. That's a transcendence used just to keep the game alive, and now Energy can keep fighting.
Yeah, the pulse bomb idea. It's not going to be enough. He doesn't pick up a single kill. He's able to go back in again, but it's a Nano Boost right from. That's so scary if you're a Tracer, and yet he's somehow not being killed. Finally, Miles able to take him down, and it's all on the lone Winston XPG to hold on to this one. And NRG coming back. We'll take Village, tie things up at one apiece.
There it is. Nice little response from Energy, although it almost got out of their control in the mid part of this round. But okay, let's talk about this switch then. Let's talk about the big composition change here from Energy that sort of catalyzed their catch-up in that one.
Yeah, so they put Seagull over to Zarya for extra beefiness, extra tank setup. They originally had the Genji Tracer combo, right? Enigma was on Tracer, he was on Genji, Gods was on tank the entire time. He was on Winston, most importantly. So you switch him over to Roadhog. You put Seagull over on Zarya, gives you a lot more longevity in the fights. And not to mention, it gives you, I don't want to, it's not talking bad about Seagull, but it gives you more kill potential. Because Gods with the hooks, as we saw, pulling in Genji time and time again, it gives you the ability to turn a 6v6 fight into a 6v5. And not to mention the Zarya shields out of Seagull was able to allow Enigma to stay alive a lot longer. He had high energy almost the entire time, and that was enough to hold this one back. I wanted to see maybe a Reaper switch last second. The problem was the game was already so far gone that Vici didn't have time to respond with any switches.
Yeah, but Yumu actually, he's going to be playing the Reaper here in this one. Now, all comes up. Gold's going to have his prize there, and actually Milo falling to Hoy there to start things off. Not ideal. Not really often we see Ryan on this map, but yeah, he was
like, all right, well, bye guys. There's nothing you can do in that situation, because maybe they didn't expect you to be playing the Mei, and you can see Energy already backing away immediately, but are we going to see any switches is the real question. Looks like they will. Yeah, they do. Enigma and Milo both do switch. So the Tracer and the Winston now.
See that combo, of course, with Seagull to grab us on the Surge. If possible, the Pulse Bomb could be quite devastating here.
Dummy switch over to Ana too. He was playing the Zenyatta, wasn't he?
No, he played Ana for the last part of the last match.
No, in this one, because he has only 9%. He had to switch from Zen over to Ana, so they're actually changing the entire composition how it's going to work. But a great wall again comes that idea, and that Reaper, the God's just trying to stay alive with the Wraith form.
Yumu just appears from the ice wall as it comes down. They're just plugging away with the Hellfire shotguns, and Dia are actually the one getting 2 kills. Perhaps it's not just the McCree and Tracer combo here. We don't often see him on this pick, but so far it's worked out well for Vici. They're able to wall off, of course. There's only one. What makes it pretty much one main avenue of approach for Energy if they're going to take it. That can often be quite deadly for them. So Seagull wants to work around the side here. They're responding to this Mei just being used to wall areas off here. So they have to hope to try and get through, and they are. They actually have someone testing on the point now as well. Milo goes straight in on the Winston. God gets himself 2 kills. It's going to be the Blizzard coming in. Seagull trying to get himself outside of it, trying to boost himself, but he does. He manages just to get the little plasma jump out there, and it's going to be elsewhere. God getting on towards Tank you on that main point. Nice little shot mechanics there from Seagull. But now, this is where the rubber hits the road. He's got to get in on towards the point. Dia goes down. XPG falls to Gods, who is just shielded by Seagull. Now with the Graviton available, it should be the flip back, and it is.
That's so much pressure on Enigma too, and so much confidence in his team in him. The fact he was able to flank around and contest the point and still not die, because if he fell, then it's like, alright, you're down a man, you're fighting without a pulse bomb or anything like that. It's going to be really hard to kind of contest this or hold on to it, but credit to Gods to pick himself up a double. And Milo, he doesn't have an easy job at all, considering he's jumping into a Reaper on the enemy team. It's a big Transcendence coming through. Transcendence doesn't accomplish too much, even as the pulse bomb. He's going to have to back away and look for a different avenue of attack.
Sound barrier here for Energy, keeping him alive through a lot of that onslaught. Now it's going to be Dia.
Did he just get booped out?
Yep, pretty much. Straight over the edge. And it's going to be Milo taking down Eagle now as God's wanting to come back in on towards the point. It should be this one solidified for Energy. Pook's getting himself a double there towards the end.
Yeah, he got a knockoff kill on Take You. I heard the screams out of Zarya. But now, Vici, are they going to switch things up? They're still more than happy to stick with this comp, which is going to be very good considering you have the Death Blossom and the Graviton Surge combos. So you're going to be seeing helicopters, blenders, whatever you want to call it these days. It's going to be happening, and NRG have to be careful to spread themselves out because they don't really have anything to stop it. They don't have a sound barrier, they don't have a transcendence, and this is going to be a round.
Yeah, nasty indeed. Yumi's going to come forward now as well. Doesn't want to pull the trigger quite yet. Just going to get a bit of damage across the biotic grenade. Didn't him pause before, but now he's going to use it. The knockoff is real. That was Milo. The jump pack connection as he hit the ground knocks Yumi straight over the edge and shuts him down. Vici Gaming didn't have enough damage to get through the initial healing from NRG in that fight, so Milo's timing was very, very good. And it's good to see NRG getting rid of the Reinhardt, switching Milo on towards this Winston and getting that Reaper involved. Important combo, especially with Enigma, who's been playing very well on Tracer so far.
I want to put out Dummy there, because the Biotic Grenade paired with his spamming left click onto Seagull actually kept him alive. Yeah, and that was just like point blank left clicks coming out out of Yumu. They would keep him alive for so long, and now we're going to potentially the final push here. One of the final pushes is SPD on the point here, trying to buy some time. Blizzard has been down. But with Gods, which is spinning away and also being Nano Boost, he's able to pick up so many kills. Seagull gets a double off of this, and Vici still have no answer. They have no way to break this defense.
And the best part of that actually was the disengage from NRG. That was really nice. The Blizzard came down from Dia, but they had already pretty much left. They had a shield on the only player that was actually inside the Blizzard. I think that was Gods at the time, who was able to deal with that quite easily. Good response from NRG. And that was Pooks as well. That speed boost to get them off the point was the reason why they won there.
And NRG, I mean, considering they had the Death Blossom Graviton Surge combo up 2 fights before this, when Yumu wasn't able to get a single kill. Actually, he got 1 kill, he got Seagull, but that was it. He got booped off, he got knocked off by Milo on the Winston. NRG was cognitive enough to actually back away and realize this is going to happen. They're going to go Graviton Surge on point, but the Graviton Surge caught the 2 tanks, and he wasn't able to release snowball any kills off of that.
And it was like the Biotic Grenade as well, should be pointed out, because that's what prevented Yumu from just wrecking them straight away when he actually came in with the Death Blossom. And then he didn't have enough Death Blossom time because of, you know, the impact of Milo hitting him, knocking him off the edge there as well. So a lot of things went in favour of NRG, but you credit them for that actually occurring because it was very good use of the healing utility and of course their speed boost to get them away. So now we're going to be heading back over towards Village here as well. It may well be the last map here, as NRG have looked very, very strong in those last 2 after switching now to the more sensible top that they saw. But it's going to be Gods opening up. Dia just falls. I don't know where that shot came from, but it came in hard.
Yeah, they came in actually with a different composition this time. So they allowed Milo to play the Reinhardt instead of going for the Winston Zarya, where you jump in, you kind of skirmish out, and they had Gods come in from main, where no one's going to be watching at all. Because, hey, who watches main when everyone fights in the high ground initially here? And Yimba shot for that 1v1 against Huey. Going to take him down. Looks like NRG going to get the first initial capture on the point.
When you get a 6v5 early on in the fight there, often your Tracer can sort of float as a loose end and sort of play uncontested. You saw that happen for Enigma. They get the pick off very early on towards Yumu, and then Enigma heads towards the middle of the map to start flanking here. It's very, very hard for Vici to respond to that being a man down.
So we're looking at this, and it looks like Vici again still just want to commit to this kind of setup. Again, it's very volatile. It's very bursty kind of composition. You can catch people off guard so quickly with just the backing of a Graviton Surge, throw it in with a Pulse Bomb. It can be easy when these fights, not to mention Dia, who's been doing so much work on Tracers, actually looking to contest immediately. Mao's going to be the one to drop down. He's already discorded up, and you're seeing Gosh trying to come in from the back, so he's being forced to Wraith form away, but he might be running straight into a trap because Dia's already waiting for him.
Yeah, and he's being pressured down here as well by the Winston. It's going to be XPG, but actually falls there as well. God stays alive long enough to get towards Dia, and Enigma eventually gets cut down by Hoi, but it's going to be NRG holding on, or at least trying to now, as Yumi brings out the Dragon Blade, gets himself a quick double kill now, but he's cut down. It's going to be the Nano Boosted Hammer of Yumu, or Milo, sorry, swinging straight through and picking him up here, and now he can pressure away. Hui is going to fall down. NRG will maintain this hold. I like how they're able to actually pincer on towards that point. Drop down from the top, put the Reaper off towards one side, and then Reinhardt on the other. Pick your poison if you're Vici.
Yeah, they still have the burst, or they didn't have the burst with the NRG Tracer to take Gods out of it. If you get a McCree in there, you flashbang him, you can easily take him out of this equation. And now you're seeing, you know, Yumi switch over to the Reaper to do some work, but which is it too late? Because you have Gods ready to go with the Death Blossom. You have Milo with Earth Shatter, which is going to completely punish Yumu, who's going to have a hard time dealing with Enigma, who can just kind of dance around him. And Gods get this position. He's going to be quick, easy kills with this man. Picks up a quad kill, looking for the 5th. And that will be the final kill coming out of Enigma here. That's just rinse and repeat work out of NRG. They just sat in the right position and caught Vici off guard.
Well, if you ever need a head stream to a lawn mode very, very quickly, you know who to call.
Or a protein shake blended.
Exactly. Sometimes I hate protein chunks. It annoys me a lot. Nicely done there by Gods. I mean, yeah, we can get hype about it when the crowd enjoyed it, but it was pretty cut and dry. Earthshatter comes in, and of course, in the Reaper copter. As I've recorded. comes into effect. So now, Dia getting the sound barrier here, but Vici already one player down in this fight. Quick had the Transcendence, he can't use that here. Great early pick up by NRG, and now it's going to be the key support ult not available for the Chinese side.
Oh, Dia's at like 13 HP. The ground is just going to come through. Enigma has post pump ready to go. He actually zips out of this one as XPG is going to take down Dummy, and God's able to chime back in. But like you said, Huey, he had the Transcendence. He's not here for the fight, and that's going to cost him the match. And that's NRG going through into the winner's match coming up next with a 2-0.
That's it. Very, very tight stuff here as well. I mean, I was quite surprised to see that Kingly Kill would actually be such a strong point here for Vici. I mean, yeah, they played it plenty, to be honest with you, but really did expect to see it be a bit of a one-sided affair, but it was far from it. And of course, play the game, no surprises here. Oh my gods. It's not actually gods on the screen, but...
yeah, it's Dummy.
It's Dummy. So yeah, cool, alright. I didn't do anything in that fight, but nice.
I think Dummy would be more than happy to play Reaper.